What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. I swear to God, just trying to get a little bit of sleep before the Korea game. Kicks off at 2 in the morning. I wake up, I look at my phone, and my phone's blown up. I've got 100 messages saying, "Where are you, Ben? Where are you, Ben? Bombers left, right, and centre." What is going on at my football club right now? It is just nuts. Bombers hitting left, right, and centre.
It's the club that never sleeps. They're going to have to start calling them the New York of the Premier League. The club that never sleeps. It's madness. We want 5 minutes of peace and quiet here. We're getting a signing, then now a bomber, and now it's just crazy. Everything's going on this summer.
I tell you, David Ornstein's probably never tweeted about Spurs more than this. But here we go. Another tweet from David Ornstein, this time regarding West Ham's Matias Fernandez. David Ornstein says that Tottenham are among the clubs keen on signing Fernandes from West Ham. Separate deal to Sandro Tonali. Interest driven by Roberto De Zerbi. He wants the West Ham talent as well as Sandro Tonali. However, SZY did tweet that Tottenham do like Fernandes. However, he has his heart set on joining Manchester United and would take something very special to convince him to join Spurs. George Banner says that currently United are struggling to structure the deal, but Spurs can go further and quicker. It has opened the door regardless of the player's preference. So what are we supposed to make out of that?
Obviously, we did hear, didn't we? I can't remember who broke it. It might have been Ben Jacobs, a few days ago.
Said Spurs, it was on last night on Spurs, yeah.
He said Spurs have inquired about Fernandes. We were like, maybe, but are we really seriously in for him? But it seems as though there is serious interest. And look, there's been a lot of talk between him and Man United for many, many weeks. But that has gone quite quiet. It was very, very hot for a few days. And now it's kind of simmered down a bit. And maybe they're struggling to structure a deal. Maybe they're struggling to kind of get the fee right for them. Do Man United have the same kind of finance? Well, we know they got a lot of money, but maybe they're struggling with PSR, or I don't know. Obviously, they're in Europe next season. They've just had a season out of Europe, haven't they? So maybe they're now trying to restructure their finances to be in accordance with the European PSR when they didn't have to for a year. And Tottenham don't have that inconvenience this season. Does that mean Tottenham could put money on the table? And also, another narrative, West Ham going down and Tottenham picking their best players. That happens every single time. Is it set to happen yet again with Matias Fernandez? I think a lot of Tottenham fans are licking their lips of the possibility or the dream scenario of a Tonali and Matias Fernandez midfield pivot, which would be just to die for. I think Fernandes has such a phenomenal season. Not just had a phenomenal season, but phenomenal season playing for a team like West Ham, who was struggling relegation and were just so bad. He was partnered with Thomas Souček, for most of the season, and he had probably to do double the running that he would need to do another team to probably cover his the space that he leaves. I think he will just be such a great signing. He's so great technically. He's got a hell of a shot on him. I think he's a brilliant passer as well. He's a bit of an all-rounder, but I think he's played a bit deeper, I feel, for West Ham. He's played a bit of a he plays nearer the halfway line. He can be a bit of a pace setter, I feel. He's a bit more controlled than maybe Tonali. But I think, they offer kind of different things. I think he's quite press resistant. I think he's really good at on the turn, receiving the ball under pressure, that kind of stuff. I think Mateus Fernandez really excels in those elements. So I think partnering him with Tonali, who's much more kind of going 100 miles an hour, hustle and bustle, whereas Fernandez is a bit different. I think they would complement each other so well. And I think technically...
The thing is, Fernandes has those aspects to his game as well. He's a pit bull in the middle there. He really is. He plays... He is a very high-octane player. And I think, in terms of hustle and bustle, I think he has those elements to his game as well.
Yeah, I think it would be an incredible signing. And maybe also, what I also like about this signing is that, we haven't signed anyone. What I like about this, link is that we're being linked to that extra midfielder on top of Tonali, potentially for big money. Maybe that shows a willingness to actually spend big even more so than we would have thought. So obviously we're also potentially going to, get in Savinho. That's going to be a significant fee. There's Paul O'Keefe, who actually broke the news. He's talking about maybe a right winger and a striker. On top of that, we'll have to wait and see who they're going to be. But maybe, if Matias Fernandez, let's say we are interested and we're willing to spend, the 85 million, but he chooses United, does that mean there's 85 million there or 80 million to go for Alex Scott? You know what I mean? Maybe there's other players on that list who we could go for who that can make us very happy. So,
Adam Wharton? Adam Wharton?
Exactly. Maybe there's money there for Adam Wharton. So, obviously, Fernandes would be a real coup as well. It makes a lot of sense that he's on our list. He's a phenomenal player. He's had a brilliant season. But maybe, as SZY said, and it probably makes a lot of sense. He has his heart set in United. They've been in talks for a while. But maybe Tottenham have heard something about this United deal that maybe not all is well there. And, United are struggling to get the figures right. And maybe there's behind the scenes, maybe there's talks from an agent. Maybe this is just a hurry up Man United. You never know. But maybe there's something going on that Tottenham sense an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Spurs just do go and slap the money down on the table straight away before even Man United can blink, then there's always a chance there, You can convince him to come just by how much you want him and how convincing Roberto De Zerbi is. I think that is true. But also, Man United are seen as the bigger prospect right now. They're Champions League football. They finished third in the table last year. Their project is that year further ahead. They've done very well under Michael Carrick and everything like that. But, I mean, if I'm Matias Fernandez, how am I looking at the situation? Do I want to go and play for Manchester United in the Champions League or a start of a project with Tottenham Hotspur? But then as well, you look at it, would you rather play for Michael Carrick or Roberto De Zerbi? I think I would probably rather play for Roberto De Zerbi than Michael Carrick. And I think he probably fits my footballing philosophy a bit better from Matias Fernandez's point of view. So it depends as the way Fernandez is looking at the situation. I'm not too sure. Sounds like he's got his heart set on Man United, but can he be swayed by that now famous talk by Roberto De Zerbi?
Well, you know what? SZY said it's going to take something special to convince Fernandes, and I know just the guy. Just the guy. Give Roberto De Zerbi the phone. Let's pay his data. Let's pay his contract and make sure he's getting on the phone to Fernandes. Just one FaceTime is all it's going to take, and Fernandez's heart will be swayed. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, this guy's he's had 2 relegations in 2 years." But he's been a standout performer in both teams in both years. Like for Southampton, he was incredible, and I was really impressed with him in that year. And last year, I was even more impressed with him in a West Ham shirt. I think this guy is phenomenal. I think the prospect of having him and Tonali in the midfield is mouthwatering. It really is. I feel like I'm still sleeping and I'm actually in dreamland thinking like that Tonali and Fernandes will be in our midfield next year. I think there's so much to happen for that to happen. But just thinking about it, it's just like, what is this football club? Seriously, how the hell are we going to spend close to 100 million on Tonali and then host 100 million on Matias Fernandez and then replenish the forward line as well? Like, this is not Tottenham, mate. This is not Tottenham. I'm telling you, surely this isn't happening.
I mean, if let's say not necessarily is Fernandes, but let's say we spend a similar amount on him or another midfielder, 80 to 85 million. Let's say you spend 100 million or 85 plus add-ons for Tonali, make 100 million. That's already close to 200. It's 250 million for them plus Van Hecker and Senesi and Robertson. That's 250 before you're even touching the front line. If you add, let's say, 55, let's say, or 50 to 55 for Savinho, that's already 300 million we're talking about. That's not even talking about a striker potentially. So what are we saying? Tottenham are going to spend 400, maybe 500 million in this window? Is that what we're saying? I mean, it sounds ridiculous when you say it. Yeah, but that's what the figures are saying. If
the maths ain't mathing, the maths ain't mathing.
Yeah, something's not adding up here. Unless this really is. Look, they did say actions will speak louder than words. They said that. So I'm not saying I believe we're going to spend 400 million. I'll be shocked. But you know what? Clubs have done it. Chelsea have done it. Arsenal.
Yeah, but there's always big sales alongside it. There's always big
Yeah,
sales
and
on
there
one
will
side.
be. Romero's going to be 50 million. Let's say 20 million for Vicario, maybe. That's 70,
20
maybe
million for Star.
20, yeah, maybe 25 to 30, maybe 25 for Saar. That's already
Maybe
100
there is
million.
something in the Bergvall thing, and if we can get big money for Bergvall, maybe that can kind of coincide with
Or
this.
maybe
Maybe
you
there
get,
is something to it.
do you get 60 million for Vuskovic? Who knows? Would you be all right with losing Bergvall and Vuskovic for 80 million or something? For if it meant funding, being part of a funding window of like 400 million?
Look, at this point, looking at the players that we're going for, Tonali, Fernandez, and hearing that, when on none of these reports are we hearing that this is Johan Lang's man. This is all
Yeah, it's
about
all
De Zerbi.
Zerbi. It's because
Like,
that's
this
the
is
party
De
line.
Zerbi.
They know it won't excite anyone if they say it's led by Johan Lang.
Yes, like this is De Zerbi running the show right now. So I am willing just to let De Zerbi have the keys, make the decisions on whatever he wants to do, whatever players he wants to bring in, whatever players he wants to take out. As much as it would hurt me to lose a Bergvall, it would hurt me to lose a Vuskovic, I'm backing De Zerbi 100% on all the decisions.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems as though he wants a show of ambition from the club. You've paid a lot of money to get me here. You threw the book at me. You've given me a lot of control. Now I'm not here to slowly build and let's finish 10th next season and then let's finish 6th the season later and then maybe in 3 years' time. He's not here for a 5-year Arteta project, like in terms of a process. He wants to be competing as high as possible, as quick as possible. And I'm not saying our title challenge next season or he's out. I don't think he's there, but I'm saying he doesn't want to be here next season thinking, yeah, you know what, we finished 8th and that's a good season. He wants to be showing ambition that we can compete right at the very top starting next season. That's where I think his head's at. And that's what these moves are saying, that we want to be back challenging for Champions League football as soon as possible.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I'm getting from this. And if we can pull these over the line, Fernandes and Tonali in midfield, all of a sudden you've got a mouthwatering midfield, and you just need to sharpen up that forward line, which does need a lot of sharpening up.
I mean, theoretically, those should be the most expensive players.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, those two players, are we really sitting here and saying in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, Fernandes and Tonali are going to be through the door and that's it? Midfield and defense completely sorted, and then it's just the forward line for the rest of the transfer window. Like, is that really going to happen?
Seems too easy. It seems too easy. There's going to be something going wrong. Probably we're probably not going to get either of them, knowing Tottenham. This is what I said about Gibbs White and Eze. We were saying this last year, weren't we? Oh, we're really going to get Gibbs White and Eze. We're going for both of them, and I was like, we're probably going to end up with either. No, sorry, it was Eze and Savinho. We were like seriously in for both of them, and I was like, we're probably going to end up with neither of them. And this is exactly what happened. And maybe we're falling into that same trap. But there seems to be
lure us in, man. They lure us in every year. Every year they lure us in. There does seem to be a change in
approach, though.
There does seem a change of approach, but every year it's something different that just lures us back in and makes us believe again. And also, here we are, right? Getting all excited.
You got to remember, just because there's a willingness to do something doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Of course.
Like just like last year, there was a willingness to spend the money on Gibbs White and Eze and whoever, but it doesn't mean it was, and Savinho, I think, but we just weren't able to get over the line. Partly probably our fault and probably circumstance, but we weren't able to. I'm not saying we don't deserve any blame if we don't get any of them over the line. I'm just saying, but just because there's a willingness, which is good, doesn't mean that it's all bound to happen. It's all bound to fall into place. But what I do like is I like the names. I like the profiles of the targets. I like what De Zerbi. I like how clearly De Zerbi has a very clear vision, doesn't he, of what the team he wants and what he wants it to look like. So I think let's just follow his vision. And I think if we follow it with a big investment, we've already seen the kind of football teams he can produce. But if you do that with a lot of investment with top players, who knows where it can go?
He's trying to build some sort of De Zerbi super team here, like all comfortable on the ball, all super aggressive. If we can get these targets over the line, I'm telling you, this is turning into some De Zerbi super team, like cherry picking each and every player from each Premier League team who he wants. It's just nuts. It's just nuts, man.
I just hope that, oh, God forbid, though, I just really hope West Ham and Newcastle don't pull our pants down. I just would hate to see a midfield of Fernandes and Tonali. I'd really hate it. Levy would have all the dinner party stories, laughing around the table with all his friends. I wouldn't be able to live it down. I think Daniel Levy would be laughing all the way to the bank if we had that midfield. We wouldn't be able to take it.
Look, he can laugh all the way to the bank while we laugh all the way to the Premier League title. How about that?
Exactly.
So, and also the prospect of having these players one game a week next season as well.
Could be a dangerous prospect. Very, very dangerous prospect.
Please, I'm praying, get these over the line, man. And you know what? Big up to West Ham as well. Like, if they give us Fernandes after giving us Kudus, after giving us Defoe, Carrick, Scott Parker, all these players, they're more friends than enemies.
Exactly. What are they really rivals if they're just handing you our best players and we're just handing them our dregs? And they're even giving us their Premier League status.
Apparently, they're going to take Bissouma.
Fantastic.
But look, that's the breaking news of today. Spurs keen on Matias Fernandez. There's no indication of club-to-club talks or personal terms or anything like that. It's looks like the very early stages of some sort of interest or inquiries, as Ben Jacobs called it a couple of days ago on Last Word on Spurs. So I guess just watch this space, people. See how this kind of progresses and just maybe manifest it. Let's manifest it. Let's manifest Matias Fernandez and Sandro Tonali coming to the club. Obviously, both deals come with their dangers. Man City interested in Tonali. Man United interested in Matias Fernandez. So let's see what sort of pull Zerbi really has when talking about these kind of players. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Can Spurs actually pull these deals off? Sandro Tonali and Matias Fernandez to build some sort of Zerbi super midfield. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come